praises alongside. And I ain't letting know. Tell the devil it ain't enough. I know what you going through, keep going. I'm sure if they had their way, I been stopped. See, I can see them from a mile away. They in the cut, know how I play. Never been the fool, won't start the day. And I'ma play my part. Much is given, much required. I won't let them treat me out my place. Never got a show. I'm from how they play it hard. Don't know why I thought that it would change. When I came in, it's true. Once you peep the facial loans, then you're cool. The way they play the game, flaw, I never do. Stay in your place, I'm like a paw to these little dudes. And we gon' get most out of praise, he brought me through it. My mind stay like anything, we could do it. We putting work up on this faith and we improve. I try to tell them I ain't new to this. First we did it, now they doing it. Just sticking to the manuscript. I let me follow the blueprint. Elohim sending me, then I go. Tell my enemies to step it up. Tell the devil it ain't a no. Keep on going on and on and on and on and on. I'm fighting, I'm fighting. I ain't letting no. I'm gonna keep on going on and on and on. It ain't a no. And on. Tell the devil it ain't a no. I'm fighting. Look at all what we done been through. We done overcame all that they pretend to. We don't fold, we don't bend. We knew we in due time, we would overcome. It's like a jungle sometimes. It made me wonder how I keep from going on. Experience, I don't worry. Most I say look up at the birds, think about it. Call them bird brain, but somehow they maintain. If I do that for them, if for you, don't you think I'ma do the same thing or more? Gratitude, grateful. He said no one gotta support you, I separate. Get two, walk together, let's stay agree. You can be the hand, I be the knee. Don't matter to me, get on your job, no indeed. Don't wanna hear your sob story, no indeed. Teach you how to live this life for peace. Take the choice, blessings and curses. You know we in the weed, and you can't stand next to me if you pretend. We for the 12, we enduring to the end. Let's go. I'm fighting, yes sir. I'm fighting. This the most going on and on and on. I'm fighting, yeah. I'm fighting, yeah. Let's go. It's your 4104, man. To my lad, bro. I'ma leave it all here. I'll pray.
To the dark, we posted up out of park. We got a couple of signs. We bringing people to God. We turn and pray to the east. We never bow to the beast. We bring a prayer to the Sabbath and bid the people to feast. We bringing light to the dark. We posted up out of park. We got a couple of signs. We bringing people to God. We turn and pray to the east. We never bow to the beast. We bring a prayer to the Sabbath and bid the people to feast. Judah a lion. In Bethel we learned to Zion when our father fell asleep on the rock. Now we consider wide awake when we don't sleep on the rock. So still be snoozing. The stone the builders refusing came back around just to bruising. I wonder who can get through to them. No one but the spirit. So I wrapped a couple letters in packages like a lyric. They distracted cause they heard we the actual people living. They counteract with conjecture. We battle axes and menaces. Limitless, it's a whole vibe. Me and my brothers come together like a whole tribe. Bashamayim, while my arms keep your soul tied to the Father through commandments till your soul rise. Lord knows. We bring a light to the dark. We posted up out of park. We got a couple of signs. We bringing people to God. We turn and pray to the east. We never bow to the beast. We bring a prayer to the Sabbath and bid the people to feast. We bringing light to the dark. We posted up out of park. We got a couple of signs. We bringing people to God. We turn and pray to the east. We never bow to the beast. We bring a prayer to the Sabbath and bid the people to feast. Maybe mix a few drinks, take a sip. That bottle is for the fathers that never got to be here. We live in prophecy clear. We walk in obvious fear. We see in Joshua trees that water salty in here. That's why we hardly can breathe. Our mental foggy ahead. The Father gon' have to burn it. These demons lofty ahead. Yo. Don't trip, every place that your soul's hit. Know that you're gonna be ruling these nations, don't quit. He who endures, he has faith, and he who retreats, he lacks walk the line like Jack Chase is blind, leading blind, now that's Mace. Stop following basemen. Keep this living from in front of me. I don't wanna hear them words come because of me. I pray for grace to appear in the spirit just to come to me. Until then I'm moving humbly, Lord knows.
Some of y'all wanna hear something good, right? That's why y'all clicked on the track. You thought you was gonna get something. Well, guess what? We aiming at you. Bah! They come with the smoke, under the coat. I've been younger before, dumber and broke, but I can see a fake Jake from a long way, way away. Stay in the spirit and watch it just like away. Smoke. Come with the smoke, under the coat. I've been younger before, dumber and broke. I can see a fake Jake from a long way away. Stay in the spirit and watch it just like away. Smoke. Come with the smoke, under the coat. I've been younger before, dumber and broke. I can see a fake Jake from a long way away. Stay in the spirit and watch it just like smoke. Come with the smoke, under the coat. I've been younger before, dumber and broke. I can see a fake Jake from a long way away. Stay in the spirit and watch it just like away. Smoke. Now my brothers keep swords and you know that. Light like midnight, black like Kodak. Ready for smoke, cause details like females. We don't share it, they ain't for retail. Just know that the spirit of love, spirit of grace and all the above. I remember being young, dumb, stupid, riding around, having problems with other brothers I knew nothing about. But now we push community, now we look for unity, trying to get it synergy. A lot of y'all eulogy, may well read. I only come around when the smoke is something to see. You ain't a brother to me, you just a hating Satan. Need to repent for the spirit on you is taken away. Seen this title, thought the story would tell. I guess our people still under us, but ain't no smoke. You won't smoke, so I kinda don't last. The type of brother y'all wish I gon' pass. You won't smoke, you came for smoke, that's what you gon' get. Aim the cannon at you, let you get smoked down. You won't smoke, so I kinda don't last. The type of brother y'all wish I gon' pass. You won't smoke, you came for smoke, that's what you gon' get. Aim the cannon at you, let you get smoked down. They come with the smoke, under the coat. I've been younger before, dumber and broke, but I can see a fake Jake from a long way, way away. Stay in the spirit and watch it just like away. Smoke. Come with the smoke, under the coat. I've been younger before, dumber and broke. I can see a fake Jake from a long way away. Stay in the spirit and watch it just like smoke. Come with the smoke, under the coat. I've been younger before, dumber and broke. I can see a fake Jake from a long way away. Stay in the spirit and watch it just like smoke. My water straight from the throne. We built the altar with the unhewn stones. Home to the city, all we see is these bones. So my face like flint till I wake a couple souls. A prophet hated by his own, so the father sent his son to bring the tribes of Jacob home. Jumping through these traps cause they trying to see us gone, but we walking through the fire just like Daniel and his bros. From every sheep to her zone, we stay inside the book because the book is all we own. Heritage and you better hold it on. We like David fighting giants with no armor and a stone. We face east cause a car home. We face east just to call home. We can't sleep till we all home. We won't rest till they all gone. So I guess that we be calling out they all bones. Bless the seed, invest the deep in the laws of our God. Make it Elohim, Shema, Warapah, all the side the king. Barakataya, Hawa, and Mashad Nagin. Bless the seed, invest the deep in the laws of our God. Make it Elohim, Shema, Warapah, all the side the king. Barakataya, Hawa, and Mashad Nagin. From Bereshit to the books in Greek, the dragon took the sheep. Man, the book complete. The Father looked for peace, but we shook the beast. Now we up until our power put the hook in cheek. Shema, Yasha Allah, Abanawa, Yahweh, Ahad. He the tower till he give us the power of God. Though in the tower you will never devour a tribe. The Lord despised all you devils, your hours arrive. Bless the seed that kept the peace. Never forgot the poor and he kept the feast. We trying to dodge destruction, they can't stop the sea. Barakataya, Hawa, and Mashad Nagin. Bless the seed that kept the peace. Never forgot the poor and he kept the feast. Trying to dodge destruction, they can't stop the sea. Barakataya, Hawa, and Mashad Nagin. Barakataya,
Hey, shalom, 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 Israel. Y'all Bashem, y'all Barakatah. All right, we the Anointed House of Saints. All right, I'm your brother Judah.
Shalom, Farigad, Eliel.
All right, Anointed House of Saints in the building. First and foremost, giving our honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Hamashiach Yahweh. All right, in the spirit of the song that we just played, hey man, that brother Jonathan be coming with heat. All right, I'm probably, besides his rib and his kids, I might be that man #1 fan. I ain't even gonna hold you. I be playing all that brother music. You know what I'm saying? We got some talented brothers in AHOS. You're gonna see some new music coming out. You know what I'm saying? It's about to get crazy, man. All right. Hey man, I want in the spirit of that song, I'm gonna do what Aharon did, man. Put Barakatah Yahweh in the chat. If you in the chat and you listening, you know you listening. You know good and well that you're listening to the class. If you're in the chat or if you're listening and you got 2 ears to hear, put Barakatah Yahweh in the chat. You got ears to hear, man. Put Barakatah Yahweh in the chat. All right, man. We got some things that's going on that I can't wait for that's happening this week. But y'all not going to find out about it until we put it out on the YouTube. So you got to make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube. The thing that we're going to put out on the YouTube this week, all right? I'm not going to say it's this week, right? Because the thing is happening this weekend, right? But the thing that we're going to be putting on the YouTube in the next couple of weeks is what every Israelite always wanted to see happen. You feel what I'm saying? This is what every Israelite wanted to see happen, but probably has never seen happen during their time in the truth, right? But man's going to love the Lord, and I'm not telling you until you see it. You got to see it. You just got to see it, man. It's going to be beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Great content coming out, and you're going to definitely be saying Barakatah Yahweh when you see what's going on. All right, so I just wanted to tell y'all that. We're going to shout out some people in the building. All right, then we got a couple of announcements I'm going to make real quick. Then we're going to go ahead and get into this class, man. 40 people on the class. We're a new congregation. 40 people on the class before the class even starts is big. So first thing I want to do is thank y'all for tuning in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As we continue to do the work of the Lord. And we
need y'all to come back every week, man, like this. We knew.
Every week, man. Every week. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning. All right, Saturday morning, we do AHOS radio, man. You get your favorite Hebrew Israelite artists, your favorite captains and soldiers in AHOS doing music, and we play a little bit of music after the class to get your Sabbath morning off right. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, man. Go ahead and subscribe. She said, Israel getting back in line? You know, maybe not. Right? So let me shout out some people in the building. We're going to get to these announcements. We're going to get right into the class. All right, the good brother John Allen, Shalom, King.
Shalom.
Nadia, Shalom, Shalom. Sister Ayasha, Shalom. Joan Gilchrist, Shalom, sister. We appreciate you. The brother HOS, Yaquab, Shalom. All right. The brother HOS, Quadash in the building, Shalom. The sister Kanai in the building, Shalom, sis. HOS, Captain Yonatan in the building, Shalom, Shalom. All right, the sister Yakana is in the building. Shalom, sister. The sister Azaniah is in the building. Shalom. Michaela Perry. Shalom.
Michaela. Sister. Shalom, sis.
Shalom, sis. All right, the brother HOS Kazakia is in the building. Shalom, shalom. The brother HOS Tico in the building. Shalom. The good brother Malak Yawasap is in the building. Always a pleasure, King. Always. We appreciate you. All right. The brother HOS Captain Yahawada in the building. All right, Shalom. Boaz, be zealous. I'm about to say be jealous. The good brother HOS soldier Boaz is in the building. He wanted to remind y'all to like and share the class. You know what I'm saying? So we can spread this truth, man. That's right. All right. The sister Ariella, Shalom, sis. Shalom, shalom. The sister Laretha in the building. Shalom. The sister Calais is in the building. Shalom. Got the good brothers from Soldiers of Yahweh in the building. Shalom, shalom, shalom. All right, shout out to y'all. All right, the captain Yakum Yah in the building. Shalom, Adawan. Good captain Elder Kanal is in the building. Shalom, Elder. Sister Carla Taylor is in the building. Shalom, sis. Shalom. All right, let's see if I missed anybody. The sister Lahama is in the building. Shalom, sis. Good sister, always supporting. We appreciate it. Zahira, sister Zahira is in the building. Good sister, shalom. The brother Isaiah is in the building. Shalom, King. All right, and the good brother HOS Shemaiah is in the building. Shalom, shalom. All right. Now, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Like I said, if you haven't already done so, like the video. We should have 45 plus likes. All right. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate you. All right, for doing that. Also, if you got social media, we know y'all got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, something. Go ahead and put that in there as well. You see what I'm saying? Hey, Soldiers of Howard, I'm gonna hit y'all up too. I got something to hit y'all up about. So you know, just be you know, I gotta hit y'all up. Matter of fact, text me because I know I'll probably switch phones and don't got brothers' numbers. So text me. All right. So announcements. Passover, right? We planning the Passover. All right. The location will be announced. The location will be announced soon. All right. Now, check this out. Check this out. Sisters that watch us, sisters that support us, we need your help. All right. We need your help. We need sisters to help us put together this Passover. All right. What we need is sisters that if you can cook, if you know how to throw down in the kitchen a little bit, send us an email to anointedhos@gmail.com. All right. And we would like to utilize your services. You see what I'm saying? No, you can't wear pink. The colors is going to be blue and gold. All right. Okay. But if you can cook, we need your services. If you're good at decorating and all that good stuff, we need your services. We're going to utilize our sisters. So if you want to be involved, you want to help, this is the work of the Lord still. This is you putting your brick in. So if you want to put your brick in, you want to do the work of the Lord, you know what I'm saying? Hit us up, anointedhos@gmail.com. All right. And we would definitely, okay. Yeah, we would definitely, holler at you so we can utilize your services when we appreciate it. Also, brothers, any brother that's under the sound of my voice that wants to join the camp, this is the last week that we're accepting prospects. All right, we're about to do a new prospect phase. If you want
prospect
to do
phase,
the work,
that's not period.
Right, just for this prospect phase.
Yeah.
Right, but after we close this prospect phase, you won't be able to join it until the next one we do. All right, so if you want to join this prospect phase, you want to do the work of the Lord, you know what I'm saying? You want to hit these streets and, sharpen up your sword and help us push this word, send us an email to anointedhos@gmail.com. All right. And I think that may be it. But your sisters, any sister that wants to help, do this work, you know what I'm saying? We need y'all help. This is not just going to be for Passover. It's going to be for multiple things. So I need you to send us an email with your name, where you're from, your contact information, all that good stuff. If you're married, send me your name, your husband's name, his contact information. We'll hit them up. All right? So there we go. We need our sisters, man. We need our sisters. We got sisters help with our plight in the Bible. Multiple places. Strong sisters that help do the work of the Lord. Right? So while we out there teaching and prophesying to the people and putting our brick in and doing what we're supposed to do, we still need y'all help. So definitely send us the email. All right. Once again, we don't have PayPal yet. Things is going crazy with PayPal. Don't know what's going on. We'll try to have that by next week for sure. But we don't have Super Chat. We have Cashapp. You on mute. The sister Zahira said, "I'm down to cook." All praises.
I said I ain't got nothing to do with that, yo. That PayPal stuff.
Yeah.
I ain't got that's
Yeah, it's yeah. But any sisters that said they willing to cook, do me a favor real quick. This email that's on the bottom, go ahead and send me an email now. All right, do that for me. And brothers that want to do the work, send me an email now. What was I going? I was about to say something. Yes, we don't have the super chat. All right, we don't have the super chat. The brother Zephaniah is in the building from HOI Shalom King. All right. So if you want to donate to what we got going on, you see that right there, right above Eliel head. That's the Cash App. All right. Hit the Cash App the other way, Eliel. The other way. Yeah, right there. All right. Hit you want to help us, continue to push the word, do the work, all of that. Send you can send it to Cash App. The Cash App sends emails in real time. So just like y'all send super chat and we can shout y'all out, but YouTube takes 60% of it, we'll get the whole 100% through the Cash App, and I can still shout you out. And I want to definitely make sure we recognize y'all. So with that, the email is scrolling on the bottom of the screen, sis. The email is scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Even if I know you personally, I want you to send me an email. I already got an email from the good sister Laretha. Hey, that sister right there. Yo, that sister right there with the Tabernacles, dog.
Come on, Judah.
Yo, I ain't gonna hold you. Tabernacles was crazy. So, hey, when we do start taking money orders, we'll get a P.O. box for that. But right now, we ain't. All right. But with that, I'm going to pass it on to the good brother Eliel.
All right. Shalom, y'all. Hope y'all doing good. Of course, we want to start by giving our praise to the Most High Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shai. That is in the name of his son Yahweh Shai. And of course, also shouting out the Ruach Kadash. All right. So today, obviously, it's Martin Luther King Day. So we got a nice little lesson for y'all. It's going to be a little different than the way we've done Martin Luther King in the past. If you've seen me teach on MLK in the last two camps, what we was taught was basically to teach that, teach the bad things he did over the good things he did, right? Because that's what people are taught about, the bad things. They're taught about his affinity for white people and coonish behavior, boule, alpha, phi alpha, all of that type of stuff, right? So today, I decided to give you guys the other side of MLK. We're going to basically get the truth, the full facts on who he was and why brothers and sisters liked him so much, right? So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Before we start, Judah, are you there? I don't know why the man be doing me like that. He just be leaving the screen and stuff.
I had to blow my nose, man.
Man be sneezing. He just be goodness gracious. I don't be knowing if he taking bathroom breaks or if he blowing his nose.
Oh man,
what's going on? But all right, so basically, what everybody knows about MLK is the "I Have a Dream" speech, right? So what a lot of people don't know, especially coming into this truth, is that "I Have a Dream" speech is actually a speech that's it's in the Bible. Just to be frank, right? As something we're not supposed to follow as a people. And I, for one, when I was in African American studies classes and stuff like that, when I was doing that back at Georgia State before they kicked me out, I was actually in a class learning about Martin Luther King, and one of his followers that was real close to him and stuff was actually teaching the class. His name was Dr. Akinyela, right? And Dr. Akinyela used to tell us things like he's actually the first person I heard say that Martin Luther King actually read parts of the "I Have a Dream" speech in his in the Bible, but it was after the "I Have a Dream" speech was written, right? And then he let us know that he wasn't the one that wrote the "I Have a Dream" speech. So back then it wasn't like it's public information, but it wasn't something you could Google and it pop up like that. But now all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? Just to show you guys, it's now verifiable information. So it says King didn't write the speech entirely himself. The first draft was written by his advisor, Stanley Levison, who is a Jewish man, Levi's son, right? Levison, and Clarence Jones, the brother, who is Martin's best friend. So some say he was connected to COINTELPRO, but I haven't actually found any connections that prove that. So I'm not going to go there with it. But main thing is, he didn't write the I Have a Dream speech, but that's the main thing that people know him for. The reason being is because that was a speech that was going to perpetrate Esau's whole goal with using Martin Luther King, right? So today we're going to kind of get into what Martin's plan was for why he even allowed people like Stanley Levison to come close to his movement, and you know, how it backfired, because that's what happened. It backfired, right? So let's go ahead and get started. Give me Jeremiah 23 and 25. What we're going to do is we're going to go through these scriptures first, and then we're going to play some actual speeches from MLK to verify what we're saying about him, right? So that y'all could actually hear the non-coon side of MLK. Because I want you guys to understand there's a scripture. Where is the scripture? Let me see if I have it. I believe it's Luke 16 and 9. I might be tripping though, but we'll get it later on. It talks about making yourselves friends with the mammon of unrighteousness, right? That's Luke 16, right?
I gotta find it myself. I ain't gonna hold you.
We'll figure it out in a second. So what Martin was doing when he's inviting these white people to come to the rallies, if you will, when he's inviting these white people to partake in our protest, you know what I'm saying? He's trying to make himself friends with the mammon of unrighteousness. He's trying to get this righteous money to help us get our economics straight, because that's what the whole bulk of his movement was. It was to get Black Hispanic economics on track. Okay, we're good, bro. So we're good with that, right? So yeah, y'all hold on just a second.
Hey, yeah, it's Luke 16 and 9 too for y'all who wanted to get that precept.
Con. So that's the main thing there, right? He was trying to get group economics together, mainly for Black people. And the way that he thought to do it was to get white people involved, because they wasn't going to allow us to have our own economics. And his test study for that was basically Black Wall Street and all the other places that were bombed and destroyed up to the time of the Civil Rights Movement, right? So go ahead and give me Jeremiah 23:25. We'll prove all this in a second.
Found this book of Jeremiah.
Yeah, they said my screen is partially blurred. That's because I got a background in the back. I don't want y'all to be looking out my windows and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I got going on in my house. But go ahead.
This brother. This book of Jeremiah 23 and 25. I have heard what the prophet said, that prophesy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed.
Right. So if we look this up, I forgot to do this, Judah. Jeremiah 23:25. Bible Hub. All right. My bad, y'all. So if we pull this up right now on Bible Hub and we read it in the New Living Translation of the New International Version, both versions were made after the year 2000, right? Which is clearly after Martin Luther King has passed away. It reads a little bit differently. This King James Version was made in 1611. So it reads, I have dreamed. It's reading in future tense because it's a future tense prophecy here. But the people, now that Martin Luther King is dead, the people that are writing Bibles now, they're writing it in the form of a past tense type. Well, it was a present tense thing before, but now it's a past tense way that they read it. And they're reading it, or writing it rather, the exact way that Martin read it in the speech that was given to him, right? So if we're looking at the New International Version, it says, I have heard what the prophets say who prophesy lies in my name. They said, I had a dream, right? So this is letting you know, based off history, only person in the planet that's known for saying he had a dream about anything was Martin Luther King, right? So this scripture is important because, one, it shows that this dream that is being spoke about in this speech and in the scripture here, the one that was given to us by Martin Luther King and his advisors, this dream is something that the Most High doesn't want our people to follow, right? This dream of integration and holding hands with the white man, you know what I'm saying, is not something that's biblically sound, because the Bible tells us in Proverbs, right, that though joined hand in hand, the wicked will not be unpunished, right? We also know that those found among them joined with their hands are going to be thrust through. So these things can't go together. For us to be involved in this movement is going to, mean that we die with these people. So it can't be a thing that we're putting ourselves together the way that they wanted us to do so, right? But that's what they did. They basically forced Martin Luther King's legacy to be him trying to mend the Black and white people together, when that actually wasn't the point of his movement at all, right? That was one speech that was made, and they used that speech basically to cause cause you to think that this was what his whole movement was about, right? That's not what it was. They want you to pinpoint this one little, piece of what his movement was, and that's not what it is. So, let me also get Sirach 34:1. It's going to help us out with some stuff. Sirach 34:1 is also going to prove something about the dream that the Most High wants us to take into account. These dreams that these brothers and sisters had back during this time and, before that and even now that have nothing to do with the Bible and the Bible prophecy and what's supposed to happen to us as a people, biblically, that's not stuff that we're supposed to be following. We're not supposed to give a damn about it, right? Go ahead and read that.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 34 and verse 1.
Read 2 too.
Okay. The hopes of a man void of understanding are vain and false, and dreams lift up fools.
And dreams lift up fools. You see that? So these dreams that they had, not to say that Martin Luther King was a fool, because he's not. But what happens is that he was given a dream that he didn't really have. He was put out there to profess this dream in front of the people. And then basically his legacy and the people that are holding his legacy and pushing it forward, they're now being forced to make known that part of his legacy was him wanting to put blacks and whites together and make that a thing. When the whole point of that speech, the whole point of that part of the speech wasn't so much to have us coexist with each other in this melting pot that America has made now. It's the point of it was to use them as a mammon of unrighteousness. There was a group of white people that knew, based on the things that they seen in the way that we were conveying how hard the hardships were of Jim Crow, right? There were white people that couldn't deny what was going on. So they were on our side. Then there was the white people that just wanted to, keep pushing white power, and they did that. So that put them in a situation where it's like Mark, right? The kingdom divided against itself can't stand, right? It's going to fall. That's basically what Martin's plan was. Same thing with Malcolm X. That's why they came together at that certain point. But it didn't last because brothers start getting in Martin's head, brothers start getting in Malcolm's head, and they end up going two different, separate ways. Malcolm decided he was going to just use black people. He didn't want to use the white man or anything like that. He just wanted it to be for black people, by black people, right? And that ended up biting him in the butt because the black people killed him. And then you had Martin Luther King, who's trying to use white people along with the black people, and that bit him in the butt because COINTELPRO, right? So these are the things that we got to understand here, and us being the side of knowledge, right? We have to understand that both of those things would have worked if they would have been doing them under the gods of the Most High, right? No matter who they would have used, because everybody on the planet is made for our sakes, right? So whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen for the sakes of the Most High and His people anyway. But give me Jeremiah 6:14. Because
verse
dream. Oh yeah, go ahead. My bad.
This is Sirach chapter 34 and verse 2. Whoso regardeth dreams is like him that catches at a shadow and followeth after the wind.
Right. So you continuing to follow this dream that was put out there by Martin Luther King and his advisors, right? I'm not going to say Martin. It was his advisors because he didn't write it, as we just saw. So this dream that was put out there by Martin's advisors, if we continue to follow this thing, it's going to be something that's detrimental to our people. As we can see, it hasn't worked, right? Though we're living and coexisting with these folks, they're still allowed to kill us in the streets. They're, watchmen, if you will, the police officers, they're allowed to do whatever they need to do while watching, right? They could kill you by any means necessary or control you by any means necessary. So these are things that we have to take into account, right? But go ahead and read me that.
You want Jeremiah 6 and what, 23? What did you ask for? Oh, Jeremiah 23 and 25. Okay, Salaki.
No, I want Jeremiah 6 and 14. Salaki.
6 and 14. Come on. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 6 and verse 14. They have healed also the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, saying, peace, peace, when there is no peace. You on mute.
My bad. I was talking to somebody. But Jeremiah 6 and 14. Read that one more time. Peace, peace.
Yeah, come on. Let me get back there, Salaki. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 6 and verse 14. They have healed also the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, saying, peace, peace, when there is no peace.
Peace, peace, when there is no peace, right? So that's what their whole goal was. There really wasn't no peace with this, because with this Martin Luther King speech that they gave, right? They were basically pushing him to do certain things that they wanted him to do. That's why they gave him the Nobel Peace Prize after the speech, because they were trying to push him to, this is the response you're going to get from us if you continue to give the speeches that we want you to give, right? So that's what that was. And I've also found out, since I made that Boule video, right, I got to correct something that I said. The reason that Martin Luther King joined Alpha Phi Alpha wasn't because he was a coon, because he wanted to just, coon out and stuff. He was actually trying to use their money to help push the movement, right? A lot of these people from Alpha Phi Alpha, the ones that were marching with him and stuff, they funded things like the bus boycotts and the marches and stuff like that, right? So he was actually using them too. Let's be real. He was using the brothers and sisters from Alpha Phi Alpha, all you rich people from Ellicott City in Baltimore, and the rich brothers and sisters in Detroit, rich brothers and sisters in DC. You know what I'm saying? It was those brothers and sisters that he was trying to use, and even the ones in Boston, because he was a part of the Boston chapter. He was using those brothers and sisters to get their money, right? To fund the movement that he was going to try to fund. And fact that he did have a liking to white women, that ended up being something that bit him in the behind too, right? That ended up being used against him by COINTELPRO. So now that we know all of that, let me see. Oh yeah, give me Habakkuk 1 and 4. And then we'll get into this thing. Y'all like the video as y'all come in the building, Baba Cashapp. Please like and share the video. We need y'all likes so that we can hit the algorithm and we can get these videos going. So please don't forget to like the video as you come in the building, Baba Cashapp.
And watch the camp videos too, Baba Cashapp. One just dropped before this class.
Yeah, facts. We'll be dropping more of them soon. We're going to start going to camp and everything like that in Atlanta this week. The brothers in North Carolina been doing it, as you see. And California, same thing. So be on the lookout for them camp videos as well. But go ahead, Judy.
Khan, you want Habakkuk what again, Salaki?
1 and 4.
Khan, this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1 and verse 4. Therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous. Therefore wrong judgment proceedeth.
And that's what happened. Once they killed Martin Luther King and they've taken out Malcolm X, now they know they can make us think whatever they want us to think. They throw Farrakhan out there. They throw, what's his name? Al Sharpton, right? Jesse Jackson. Mm-hmm. And they put these brothers out there basically as mules, if you will. You see what I did to your leaders, right? If y'all don't get straight and start pushing the stuff we want y'all to push the way we want y'all to push it, same thing gonna happen to y'all. So they put these brothers in the forefront that actually would act like the Boule, right? That actually would be gatekeepers for their society because they see what would happen if they don't, gatekeep. So that's that on that. All right. Wrong judgment proceeded. And now we have people marching and protesting to death instead of actually doing what, Martin and Malcolm would have wanted them to do, which is fight back. Right. It's just two different ways that they were deciding to fight back. We now have the means to do it both ways. Right. We could physically fight back the way that Malcolm wanted us to, and we can economically fight back the way that Martin wanted us to. And that's the best thing to do. Come together with both of those ideals under the, guides of the Most High, right? Gather ourselves together and then make that thing happen. So, let me see. Give me Ezekiel chapter 13, verse 10. I'm going to get this and then we're going to play these videos.
Okay, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 13 and verse 10. Because they have seduced my people, saying peace, and there was no peace, and one built up a wall, and lo, others daubed it with untempered mortar.
Yeah, that untempered mortar is like whitewashed, right? So they put that I have a dream speech out there, right? And they dab it, they whitewash it basically, right? They make it a speech that's fitting to their people instead of our people, even though the speech was supposed to be given to us, right? They wrote this speech so that it's appealing to not just our people, but it's also appealing to white people, which is why it got such a great response. But now that it's been appealing to white people, they use that as a ploy to, you have to keep appealing to white people in order for your movement to proceed, right? In order for it to go forth and have the success that you want it to have, you have to keep appealing to these crackers. So that's what he tried to do. He tried to keep appealing to them. He even allowed gay people at that point to start moving in the riots, right? And give them a forefront with the gay Bayard Rustin in there, right? See, I'm starting that thing again. Bayard Rustin. So that's why all these different groups of people start getting involved. And then Gandhi gets involved because what? Gandhi is somebody that the white people wanted us to look up to, right? He's the nonviolent protest guy. That's the reason Martin start going to him, start reading his book, start talking to that brother. because he realized, okay, this is how these crackers want us to move. So I'll try to move this way and see if it works. But once it didn't, he gave this last speech that we're about to play right now. And the day after this speech is when they killed him. So we're going to play this speech. Then we're going to play another one that basically gives you the guides of Martin's actual stance, right? So let's get into this right quick. This is Martin's last speech, and I want you guys to pay attention to the dates of this thing too, right? Fair use, by the way. So let's hit that. April 3rd. He was killed April 4th, 1968. This is April 3rd, 1968. All right.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right. And so just as I say we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead.
Now, this is important. This part, everything he said before was just letting people know what the deal was, right? But this thing here, from this next 2 minutes, right? This is what got him killed. What's going to be said here. What a lot of people don't know about this speech is he just came back from Israel. Did y'all know that? Martin had just came back from Israel when this speech was made. So when he says, I've seen the mountaintop, he was literally saying he's seen it because he was just there, right? You know, when Whitney and Bobby went to Israel and they was told we the Israelites and all that type of stuff. Yeah, Martin, 50 years before that, right when the Jewish people got there and all them Palestinians was mad and Gamal Nasir is still alive and all these other brothers that know the truth back there in the Middle East, right? He's there to talk to them. So he gets to talk to those people. And Martin actually, was told we the Jews. He let them know that he knew that already, right? And he comes back with this speech. So let this be known, because here he already knows he's going to die after he says what he says, and he's going to let them know that. Then he's going to let them know he's seen the promised land and that he not going to make it, but we are, right? So check this out.
Hey, Salaki, and I got to say this.
Go ahead.
In the chat real quick, who also seen the promised land but didn't get there with the people? Who also, let's just think about this now.
Starts with an M. It's not Michael Jackson.
Start with a, and it ain't Martin, right? But who else? There we go. The brother Keziah on it. Shalom 2 times, King. You already know how you go. All right. There we go. Moses.
Somebody
right?
was going to say Michael Jordan.
Right. Y'all on it. So he's saying something here. Messiah just means savior. And this is what this man was trying to do. He was trying to redeem our people, like it says in Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And he already understood, hey, guess what? When a man stands up to do a certain thing, which is save his people, sometimes you don't get the reward with the people. So it shows you, hey, brothers who want to do the work of the Lord, you got to understand, to get the end result, you might have to die for it. And you might not be able to bask in the reward of the things that you work for. This is the sacrifice of Moses, the sacrifice of brothers like Martin Luther King and other brothers that died so we can have some type of rights right now.
Sacrifice of Hamashiach Yahushua.
Exactly. The only thing is, Hamashiach Yahushua is gonna rule in the kingdom, so he gonna get
to come back. But I'm talking about his first sacrifice. The sacrifice, because when he come back, the sacrifice happened already. So like the sacrifice was made, he won't get. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
that's right. So you got to dig into what that man is saying, bro. That's deep.
It's fun to get deep. If you understand this, knowing what you know now about him just coming from Israel, he knows the truth now. He already gave this speech on the Belafonte show where he said he has integrated his people into a burning building, right? I might play that too. So he's already told everybody, yo, I effed up integrating y'all with them. I thought that was the way to do it. I thought we was going to make the Mamoon of unrighteousness, you know what I'm saying? Make ourselves friends with the Mamoon of unrighteousness so we could be accepted into everlasting habitations. Give me that right quick. Luke 16:9. I just want to read that right quick. This is what Martin's plan was, and it didn't work.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 16 and verse 9. And I say unto you, make to yourselves friends of the Mammon of unrighteousness.
Yeah, make to yourselves friends of unrighteous money. Make to yourselves friends of these crackers that's gonna make money unrighteously, even off of you guys, because you may be able to use that money to help push your movement and your people forward. That's all that's all Martin was trying to do, right? He was trying to use their resources to push us forward because they wouldn't give us the resources ourselves. And he's going to say that in these speeches. The next video I'm going to play. They told us to lift ourselves up by our own bootstraps, but then didn't give us no damn boots to wear. Right. So that was the situation. So he said, since y'all crackers ain't going to give us no boots, but tell us to pull us up by our bootstraps, we going to take your boots and pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. They caught wind of that and shot the brother. And then when he didn't die from the bullet, they killed him in the hospital. That's how Martin Luther King died. All right.
That's right.
So let's hear the rest of this speech now that y'all know what y'all know. This is deep.
But it really doesn't matter with me.
He even gonna cry.
You can see it, right?
Because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And he's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
That was the last time we heard Martin. This is April 4th, the very next day. And we all know what this is, right? There's the brother right there. They point at the rooftop. Oh, it came from over there. All them crackers already knew where the bullet was going to come from because they was COINTELPRO. They was the one who told the shooter what rooftop to get on so you'll have a good, clear shot. Then they carried the brother off. You know what I'm saying? He ain't dead.
Hey, Salaki. Hey, and they also say that some of the brothers that was standing out there on that balcony with him knew what was going to happen, which is why he was on that balcony.
They say Clarence Jones, his best friend, was one of those brothers. That's why I said allegedly he was a part of it. Allegedly.
Hey, man. Hey, listen, real quick. Hey, y'all brothers, listen. How old was Martin Luther King when he died? 30-something?
35?
Oh, let's see.
Yeah, look it up. Hold up.
Here you go. He was 39 years old.
39. There you go.
Brothers and sisters, how many of y'all older than 39? Let's in the chat. It might not be a lot of y'all, but how many of y'all are close to 39 or over 39 right now? Let's just think about this, man. Let's just think about this, right? Hey, listen. Think about where you were. If you're older than 39, think about where you was at 39 years old. And think about were you really ready to be taken out like this? Were you ready to be taken out like this for the cause of your people? Hey, the Bible says no greater love than a man that will lay down his life for his friend. You see what I'm saying? So, all of us, and see, Eliel doing a good thing by revamping this class and correcting certain things that he may have taught before, which a lot of people will never do. I'm going to let y'all know that now. A lot of people will never, ever do that because they want to be this great Israelite teacher that was never wrong, and they will never restate a class. This brother is redoing the class, right? And it's great that he's doing that. Why is it great that he's doing that? Because some of us who profess to be the super Israelite man will never die for our people. Never. They will never die for their people.
But when the gun come out, they let another brother step in front of it.
Yo,
just saying.
Hey, listen, they will never. And my thing is this, right? Some of y'all are tough with 30 brothers with you. Matter of fact, two brothers. Y'all are daggone Chihuahua. Bro, Captain Yahweh is very false witness. On this live, like he 20. Like, stop. 20 plus what? 20? Right? But yo, let's keep it funky, right?
I wasn't gonna say that.
Yeah, right. Let's keep it funky though. So a lot of brothers are tough with somebody else beside them. But are you tough by yourself? These well-educated, these well-spoken brothers and sisters back there during the civil rights movement that was putting on for our people won't scared of that, man. So everybody talk a good game, but are you really about that? I got to give him the respect, bro. I got to. He even say, yo, I'm willing to die. I don't give a damn. I don't even care no more.
Longevity is a good thing, but hey, I ain't here for that. I know they gonna kill me. I ain't worried about that no more. I'm worried about making sure my people get to the promised land. That's it.
Let's think about it. Let's think about all the great people that have died for the cause of our people.
MLK 39.
MLK 39. Malcolm X, he was in his 30s, I believe. Khalid Muhammad.
Marcus Garvey was a little older, but he wasn't no old nigga.
You see what I'm saying? Khalid Muhammad was a fairly young man. Yep. Fred Hampton was 24 or something.
Yep, Huey P.
Bro, I was running the streets at 24. Still thinking about doing something to my own people at 24. These dudes was dying for their people, man. We got to put some respect on their name, dog. We got to, and that's why I'm glad this brother is doing this class. So I got to clap it up for the brother for even redoing this class. It's beautiful,
all
man.
Praises. All praises, man. All praises.
Beautiful.
I had to do it, though. I can't, I did Martin dirty. I just put out the bad stuff. I ain't say nothing good about him last time. So
it's the popular route to take.
Yeah. All right, so my mama actually sent me this. Shout out to mama.
Mama.
Yeah, mama. Shout out to Takeoff. So, no, sorry. But this brother right here, right? This right here is a good video. This is from I don't even remember who this YouTube channel is. Black Thought or something. Professor Black Truth. Okay. Shout out to that brother, whoever that is. So Professor Black Truth went and got like all of the radical speeches of MLK that they don't show you on TV. They don't show you in school. They don't show you during the month of February in the African American Studies classes. None of that. If you took a Martin Luther King class, they probably still wouldn't show you none of this junk because I did and I never seen it. So this is important because it's going to actually give you guys the precipice, the core belief of Martin and what he was about, right? It wasn't about white people. He wasn't for joining hand in hand so that we could all sit at the table and eat fried chicken, as the good brother Chris Tucker said, right? It's about more than that. It was about us being able to have our own economics and build that off of the back of the cracker that built his economics off of our back, right?
And whose channel you said this was?
Professor Black Truth. I ain't never heard of him, but my mama sent it to me, and he got 117 subscribers. So somebody like him.
That's right. I don't know how many subscribers you got, man.
Yeah. All right, check this out.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land.
Hey, y'all don't do us dirty now. Hit the like button when y'all come in the building. Baba Cashapp, the water.
In the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms.
You see this? Do y'all understand what he's saying?
I remember this video.
I know for the young people, y'all probably don't get this, but this is literally telling you how they built America. You know how much money farmers make or the farming industry makes in America right now? Let me Google that real quick.
And they making more money to burn crops now.
Right. How much does farming industry make? Got my check in all caps. All right, golly. It says agricultural, food, and related industries make roughly $1.2 trillion of the U.S. gross economy. The output of America's farms contributed to $164.7 billion of the GDP last year. $1.2 trillion of the U.S. GDP, people. Martin is telling you that these people was taught how to make $1.2 trillion, not because they went to school like they try to make us do to learn agriculture, right? They was taught that and given government funds to go and start a farm after they were taught how to use the money. And guess who taught the government how to farm? My people, Gad, right? We taught them how to farm, then they push us to the reservation, and then they give white people who was coming off the boat money to start their own farms, right? Right after they stopped slavery. And then it's Jim Crow. So you also have, our people who end up being sharecroppers and stuff like that because they wasn't smart enough to go get a job. So they had to stay on the plantation for these low-ass wages. So these people are still getting an opportunity to basically have slave labor. They have these farms that they got paid to start, and then they don't have to work them themselves. They get to use us to still do it, even though they emancipated slavery, because he's going to tell you the truth, too, in this speech. We teach that slavery was emancipated in 1865. That's when the Congress made it a law. It was emancipated in 1863, which is another reason why y'all shouldn't be celebrating Juneteenth, dummies. But it was emancipated in 1863, 2 years before that. It's a Googleable fact, right? That's when Abraham Lincoln actually put it into effect. January 1st, 1863. Congress didn't get it until 1865. I think like September 24th or something like that, 1865. So it was a couple years afterwards. And then we know the Juneteenth thing happened after that. So all of that goes to say that they were using free labor to start these farms, but they got paid in order to get to continue to do them. So, and then they were taught how to use this agriculture, right? Well, how to start this agriculture, rather. They were taught how to do these things. Where while our people are being pushed on reservations, we're being pushed onto these sharecropping farms to help them build more of their wealth, right? So check this out. He's trying to turn the tide and make it so that we get some of this money. You know what I'm saying? So that we get some of these resources that they've given to these people to help us start farms, right? Because they're telling us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, but then again, didn't give us no damn boots to pull on.
Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. Now, this is what we are faced with. And this is a reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we're coming to get our check.
What's up? Oh, you on mute. You on mute.
Salakia, back it up just a second, about 2-3 seconds. I want to let him finish that statement, and then I'm going to get in there. Salakia.
And this is a reality. Now, when we come, this is what that he ought to lift with his own bootstraps. And this is what we are faced with. And this is a reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
Right there.
America.
Hey, man, let me tell y'all, let me tell y'all something, man. Martin Luther King wasn't nothing to play with. Like, he just had a different philosophy for how he was going to achieve the goal, right? I tell brothers all the time, right, when we teaching brothers how to be a good reader on the street, the person that's teaching might not get to the point that we all trying to get to the same way you might get to the point, but we're taking multiple avenues to get to the same destination. You might take the highway, I might take the back roads, but we get into the same destination. Martin Luther King had his way of doing stuff. MLK, Marcus Garvey, etc. had their ways of doing stuff, but it was all to achieve the same goal. The brother was a leader, right? So I just wanted to point that out to show that, brothers, y'all can't be talking a good game when not being prepared to be a leader neither. He was prepared to die, but he was also prepared to do what it took to be a good leader while he was here. And this is what he's showing, is showing that, man. Go ahead.
Facts. All right. Now check this out. Now he really gonna get into it. Every time you see him speak, like anytime you see a speech of MLK and he's got this little mural behind it, this whole day, everything he said in here was probably the realest stuff he ever said. And they only show you clips of his speech.
And it got him killed.
Yeah. This speech right here, like at this church he at, and that last speech y'all saw, the first video I showed you guys, the very last speech he ever made, and the one he made on the Harry Belafonte show, where he said he believes he integrated his people into a burning house. You know what I'm saying? So those are the three speeches that got him killed. But you see why? It's because he let everybody know that he's not doing what he's doing to actually join hand in hand with these people. He's doing it to use the economic resources that they've been giving to poor whites, right? So think of like the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party, and this is also why a lot of our people became Democrats. The Democratic Party, because you also got to remember JF Kennedy and everything. He's around during this time period. JF Kennedy is he's the guy that allowed Larry Hoover to be to start wiretapping Clarence Jones and Stanley Levison and Martin Luther King at his crib. So it was the Democratic Party that allowed this to happen, right? These same Democrats then go out there and push a narrative that, basically it's the same narrative that Martin Luther King was pushing, that they want everybody to be able to join hand in hand, and they want poor whites and black people to be together and all that type of stuff and look at their plight as the same, right? So Martin was basically the one that gave them that idea to look at their plight as the same. He did it like that to try to say, look, y'all are giving these poor whites these land grants to start these farms, and they're getting to make millions of dollars off of us, right? Why don't y'all give us these same land grants since our plight is the same as theirs, right? So that's the type of things he was trying to do. It just ended up backfiring because they caught on to it. Go ahead.
Hey, Salaki. Hey, listen, we're not even about to harp on it alone, but Pastor Aiden, watch this. Pastor Aiden, you say he's burning in hell because he was a known adulterer. Let me ask you something. Hold on before because we're not even about to give you the energy. According to the Bible that you are using to say he's burning in hell because he was an adulterer, is that a sin that he can repent from? Number one. Number two, do you know if he repented or not? Answer those two questions, then we can talk. Go ahead, Elia.
And number three, he's not burning in hell because the Bible says that the souls go back to the Father. So shut the hell up. All right. So
freed the slaves in 1863 through the Emancipation Proclamation of Abraham Lincoln, but gave the slaves no land or nothing in reality, and as a matter of fact, to get started on. At the same time, America was giving away millions of acres of land
in the West and the Midwest, which meant that there was a willingness to give the white peasants from Europe an economic base.
You see, the white peasants from Europe, right? You know why there's so many damn Irish people in Boston and Ohio and Nebraska and Indiana, right? Because them poor white crackers, after they indentured servitude, right? They got land grants to go start farms. You feel me? That's what happened. These people got land grants to go start their farms and make their money. And then black people was moved out there to go help them farm and make their money. Right? So he's letting you know what it is. He was trying to put us or build our communities off the backs, if you will, of these poor white people and the resources that they were getting by rich white people in the government of the white people, right? They were trying to say that we're equal to the poor white people. So he's trying to say, if that's true, give us what you're giving the poor white people, these white peasants, so to speak, right? But they wouldn't do it.
And yet it refused.
They still won't do it, right? If you look at the Republican Party and even the Democrats, brothers right now in 2023 now are asking for reparations, right? Brothers was asking for it. It was supposed to be on the ballot last time, all that type of stuff. Didn't happen because they still aren't trying to give us the same resources that they give to these other peasants, right? Them Asians that got shot up in them parlors, they got $50 million in a not a land grant, but an actual grant. They got a grant of $50 million, right? Did George Floyd's family get a grant of 50 cents? No. Did Icon Gurley family get a grant of 50 cents? You feel me? So
to give its black,
we haven't got any type of resources that they've given these other people. And that's basically what Martin was fighting for all the way back in the 60s and 50s.
Peasants from Africa who came here involuntarily in chains and had worked free for 244 years, any kind of economic base. And so emancipation for the Negro was really freedom to hunger. It was freedom to the winds and rain.
Hey, Pastor Aiden, you're in hell. Shut the hell up.
I was about to
heaven.
I was about to say, yo, listen, yo, you funny. I was about to say, yo, after you finish doing what you're doing, Pastor Aiden, if you're really a pastor, we will politely invite you to come on and prove that these people are in hell. We would do it politely, and we will allow you to prove that these people are in hell. I tried to get them to throw tomatoes at you. They throwing logs, cans of tomatoes, stones. Hey, listen, we will politely give you a link in the chat, and you can click it, and you can come up here and prove that these people are in hell. All right?
Don't worry. I'm going to throw Martin at you. I'm going to make that face, too, as soon as we throw you the link. Remember that face that Martin wearing right now. I'm going to keep playing.
And it was freedom without food to eat or land to cultivate, and therefore it was freedom and famine at the same time. And when white Americans tell the Negro to lift himself by his own bootstraps, they don't look over the legacy of slavery and segregation. I believe we ought to do all we can and seek to lift ourselves by our own bootstraps. But it's a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And many Negroes, by the thousands and millions, have been left bootless as a result of all of these years of oppression and as a result of a society that deliberately made his color a stigma and something worthless and degrading. So I think the big...
You see this? Do you see how straight to the point and raw he's been? He's being like the way he's saying it is tasteful, and I guess it's been said in a way that you'll want to listen to it, but he's still straight to the point and he's being raw. He's saying, yo, these crackers then gave us, they didn't told us to lift ourselves up by our bootstraps, and we definitely will. We plan on doing so. But it's a cruel gesture to tell a man with no boots to lift himself up by his own. Like, bro, that was cold. You understand? This type of stuff to a white man. If Larry Hoover's watching this, JF Kennedy, that Irish son of a duck, is watching this, you know how mad they're getting? Right now there's tapes that they have. The reason it's only a couple MLK movies that come out is because his speeches like this that don't hit the air, the reason they're not out there is because the tapes and stuff like that, the surveillance, all of that stuff is locked in the archives until 2027. It's not allowed to come out. Why is that? All of his speeches are copywritten, but nothing can come out of the archives until 2027. It's crazy, right? So he's letting you know straight up what the deal was back then, why it is that the people was going through what they was going through, and why it was such a big deal for the civil rights movement to happen. It wasn't a civil rights movement that needed all these other people to be involved in it. He just allowed them to be involved because he thought it was going to help push the movement, right? It helped push it, helped glorify it, helped make it big, helped make it known, but it didn't actually do what he wanted to do, which was give us the economics that we were supposed to get after slavery. That 40 acres and a mule that they promised us that we never got. Martin's whole goal was to make sure we get that, right? What a lot of brothers don't know is it's easy to serve the Most High if you don't got to serve Esau too, right? So Martin being a man of the Most High, and after he went to Israel, you know what I'm saying? He knows that, hey, my people need to, have certain economics where we're able to do what we need to do for ourselves. We don't have to worry about what the white man wants us to do, what they need us to do, what's going to push their society forward, right? If we're in a situation where we can worry about ourselves, we have our own economics, our own situations, our own communities, right? We can do what we need to do. We don't got to worry about America not shutting down during our feast days because we have our feast days and they have America, right? We could keep our Sabbath. We could keep our Purim, our feast dedication, our feast of trumpets, tabernacles, right? We could keep all them. They could have their Christmas, their Thanksgiving, their 4th of July, and all that other crap. But it's like that don't work if we're trying to be one nation because it conflates, it mixes, right? Then you're at the subjection of whoever the top people is in that nation, which obviously isn't us. So he's trying to put us in a situation where these economics are pushing us forward, just like many Israelites are trying to do now. And they saw that, which is why they stopped it, right? And now it's harder for us to, come together under one umbrella, like it was easy for them to do back in the day, right? It was easy for Black Panthers to mobilize Black Panthers. It was easy for the Nation of Islam to get people for the Nation of Islam. It was easy for Martin Luther King to get people for the Civil Rights Movement. It was easy for Marcus Garvey to get people for the Pan-Africanist movement because these people was all going through the same thing and they was all trying to get the same result. Now,
Right.
even Black people have different economics. They've made it so that even amongst ourselves, our economic situation is different. So some niggas don't give a damn about the plight of other niggas because they got
Right.
millions of dollars, right? And some brothers,
Salaki.
yeah, go ahead.
Hey, I want to say something because what you're saying is crazy, right? Redlining was one of the main culprits. The end of redlining was one of the main culprits that made us, a lot of us, go from caring about the plight of our people as a collective to, it don't matter. They got rid of the red line. I can go live where they live now. I don't have to worry about the water being bad in my neighborhood or I can go to school with them now. Oh, we don't have these problems over here. And this is what, when we was redlining, we was in the worst neighborhoods. They was coming over here, killing us, sick dogs and water hoses on us. We was all getting it. But the inner segregation, right? The desegregation of schools, the inner redlining, although it was looked at as a bad thing, Shalom, Sister Abaya, although it was it was looked at as a bad thing, it was the best thing for us. Because we talked about Black Wall Street not too long ago, right? Black Wall Street was going on as a result of all these things. Our people being sottish and kind of dumb, once they allowed us to integrate and do things with them, we forgot about our own plights.
Yep.
So now, not only did we forget about our plights as a community, we forgot about our own people who lived across the track. You see that with your own family members. They live in the suburbs, you live in the hood. They don't really care about you like that. Come on.
Yeah. Hey, Sanaya. Sorry. But,
Yo, wow.
You know what I'm saying? But like, it's same type of thing. You know what I mean? Once the family get money, they don't really care about the other people. And Esau knew that, which is why they made it possible after Martin's gone. Now we could separate your economics, right? We could separate the people so that the folks that's getting the money, the boule, if you will, the gatekeepers, they'll want to keep the gate open for themselves to keep getting the money, right? With that said, if they want certain people to stay out the gate, them gatekeepers are going to keep you out the gate, right? So when Martin was around, the gatekeepers were working for Martin, right? When Marcus Garvey was around, they was working with Marcus Garvey. They was working with Malcolm X, right? Have y'all seen, there's a TV show that Forrest Whitaker's in. It's called Godfather of Harlem. It's about Bumpy Knuckles. Bumpy Johnson. I called him Bumpy Knuckles. It's about Bumpy Johnson, right? Bumpy Johnson was a gangster, if you will, in Harlem, but a good brother to a lot of people. Took care of a lot of folks, right? And he was cool with Malcolm when Malcolm was a street hustler back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And Malcolm ended up trying to bring the brother in, and they did some good things together before both of them was taken out. You know what I'm saying? So that being the case, it's the same type of thing. If we're looking at Bumpy Johnson and Malcolm X, it's like Bumpy's the boule and Malcolm is the civil rights leader, right? So you got the people with the money, the people with the resources, the people with the army, right? They backing the dude that's pushing the movement. But nowadays you don't see that, right? When the NFAC came out, you ain't see celebrities getting behind that brother, Jam Master Jay. And when the new COINTELPRO came out, they took him down, locked him up for a year, right? Now you don't see them brothers showing up with guns no more. When I mean that's what it is with everybody. Marcus Garvey, Noble Drew Ali, the Israelites, right? There's always a situation where they take out the brother that's in charge, and after the fact, the groups that's left end up doing worse than what they were doing before because of the differences. And Esau knows that, right? He's a cunning hunter. If you cut off the head, the body gonna fall. That's what their goal is to do. Now, Israelites is a little different because our head is Hamashiach Yahushua. He ain't here for them to cut off his head. And when he come back, he's going to be cutting theirs off. So they know the narrative is different. If we was able to mobilize under what we teach as a people, get the people under this, they know it's not going to be no stopping it, right? Because Martin and Malcolm knew it wasn't going to be no stopping it, which is why he was teaching our people, hey, we're the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? Their last couple of speeches was about that. So that's really what I want you guys to realize. That's what Martin's whole point was, right? But let's play a little bit more of this thing.
Biggest problem now is that we got our gains over the last 12 years at bargain rates, so to speak. Didn't cost the nation anything. In fact,
y'all hit the like button when y'all come in the building. He's saying some real stuff that still applies right now to 2023, right? If they was to give us anything for George Floyd getting killed, it's not going to cost them anything, right? Them allowing us to protest, which is really what they give us now, it doesn't cost them anything. When we protest and we destroy the neighborhoods that we destroy typically be the neighborhoods we live in. Brothers ain't got gas money to go up the street to the white folks' crib.
Right.
That's what it is. So they know that. So just listen. Y'all hit the like button.
It helped the economic side of the nation to integrate lunch counters and public accommodations. It didn't cost the nation anything to get the right to vote established. And now we are confronting issues that cannot be solved without costing the nation billions of dollars. Now, I think this is where we're getting our greatest resistance.
Now, look, this is important, what he just said. Martin just told you guys, because what's the biggest thing that these Martin Luther King supporters, the ones I will call the coons, right? The boule, fule people. What is it that they say is the biggest thing that Martin Luther King did for us, right? What did he give us?
Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat real quick. Type fast. Let's go. Put it in the chat real quick. Ask that question one more time.
What's the biggest result of the things that Martin Luther King gave us? Hey, Judah, is it me? Is it my internet that's tripping? Because you seem a little blurry. Is it?
It might be me, man. It might be me.
Okay.
Yeah, it is me. I'm looking at it on the YouTube on my end. It's me. It's all good.
All right, bet. I'm just making sure. You sound good though. You're not slow. Integration, that's one. But how about the right to vote? That's the answer I was looking for. The right to vote, right? the biggest thing you get from Martin Luther King, you're right, James, the biggest thing that he's known for giving us as a people, right? Because integration isn't something that we really was asking for. It just happened, right? The thing that he's known for giving us is the right to vote. Now, Martin just said in this speech that they never show you, the right to vote ain't cost the nation nothing. So is this really what he was talking about? Was the right to vote really what Martin wanted us to get if the right to vote didn't mean we get a damn thing? If the nation ain't suffer for giving us the right to vote, what was the point of giving us the right to vote? Right? So he's explaining to you here that that's not really what he wanted. He didn't give a damn about that. But that's what they still today tell you, that that's what you should look at Martin Luther King for, the right to vote. You guys can vote. You can make a change. You can make a difference. What change and what difference has happened all these years you've been voting? My dad is what, 56? He died the same year Martin. So Martin been there for 56 years. What have we gotten as far as economics in the last 56 years through voting?
Other than nothing.
Other than nothing, right? Just because we got some brothers that's able to scam a couple vending machines and ATM machines and stuff like that, take money from other people's accounts and build their wealth like that, don't mean that we good as a people. Just because there's some brothers that could, finesse some credit and get them a Toro business or Airbnb, don't mean that we doing good as a people, right? Majority of our people can't do that. Majority of the people that do get by getting their money like that end up getting caught and going to jail. So the ways that we're making money, propelling ourselves forward in bulk, isn't even a way that's sustainable. You know what I'm saying? Best way you see a nigga getting money, or Hispanic or Native American getting money, is playing football, basketball, baseball, or soccer. Or rapping or singing. Or acting. That's it. We have to go through the entertainment roles to make our money. That's the realm we're in now with the right to vote. It wasn't like that before. You wasn't making millions of dollars as a musician or actor, as a black person, Hispanic, and Native American back during the time of Martin Luther King. Now they give us that right. But why is that? It's because they know that if a couple of us keep getting money, the ones that want the money are going to attain to be like the couple of us. You're going to attain to be a basketball player, attain to be a football player, a musician, an actor, actress, right? You ain't going to try to be a business person. Because you see, in business, that's not where the black people and white people, the black people, Hispanics is really getting the money. Some of us are, but not in bulk. So Martin was trying to make it a thing where we're automatically put in situations where we can make money doing whatever we want to do. Once they kill him, they take that away from us. Now you're forced to get money the way they want you to get money. So keep that in mind, man. This is really deep.
They may put it on many other things, but we can't get rid of slums and poverty without it costing the nation something.
Dr. King spoke the truth and fought for the truth. So it's no surprise that in the years...
You can't get rid of slums without it costing the nation something. The reason we're still in the ghetto, where the place where the Jews reside by definition, right? That's what ghetto means, the place where the Jews reside. We're still in the ghettos and the slums because that's where America wants us to be at. That's where they want us to reside, right?
I think that's so ironic that that's the definition. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Like the word ghetto stopped existing after daggone the Holocaust. The ghetto, bro. Akon had a song called Ghetto.
Hey, it's a bunch of people had Too Short, Rick James, all type people. The ghetto, talking about the ghetto.
You see what I'm saying? Like that? Yeah, I know that song. It's like the term ghetto or the definition of ghetto or the word ghetto stopped being used after the Holocaust. But then it turned around to be used as they don't call where they live now. Their communities. They don't call Mario. They don't call this was funny, right? The ghetto has a negative connotation to it, right? For being something of low stature, right? But here's the thing, right? That's because we live there. But they don't call where they live now the doggone ghetto. But the term got used for where we live, and we the real Jew. Man, that's cold. I don't care what nobody say. That's cold. If the term ghetto was just where dudes live, they would call where they live right now the ghetto. But they don't.
Why they don't call? Yeah, that's facts. Why the Jewish man don't call them high rises? This is the ghetto.
Right. This is my ghetto.
This is the ghetto.
Israel will be the ghetto. Like, come on, bro. Hey, shalom, sister Arnona. Shalom, sis.
Shalom. But look, Martin literally telling you, bro, that like, yo, it's up and it's stuck. Y'all was supposed to give us money, y'all ain't do it. So we come in and get our check. Ain't that what he said?
That's what he said.
That was his whole goal, man. Give me my check or give me death. That's what he said. And they killed him. And they still didn't give us the check. Y'all telling us Martin Luther King's dream has gone by. One of the reasons I got on him is because of his grandson. That fat nigga, you a coon. Because you know, man, you know, no, it's his son, my bad. You know your daddy dream has not come to pass yet. But every year on his birthday, you get on CNN and MSNBC and you make a speech making it seem like you're one step closer to the dream. Why it's been 56 damn years and you still one step closer to the dream? Why you ain't achieved it yet? Martin Luther King III. See what I'm saying? So brothers got to understand, like, this is stuff that we can't let slide. We can't keep letting people say that Martin Luther King's dream is coming to pass and that it's happening and stuff, because we ain't nothing like that, right? We ain't nowhere near his dream. We ain't getting no money. The closest thing we got to Martin Luther King's dream was PPP loans. No lie.
Yo, that's OD.
That's the truth, though. That's the closest thing we've gotten to MLK's dream, PPP. And most of y'all that got PPP was putting out GoFundMe's a couple months afterwards because the government was coming to get your ass. So even the check that they gave you that was supposed to help you, quote unquote, during this pandemic, you still got, a lot of y'all still had to give back. So, you know, we haven't attained Martin Luther King's dream yet. We haven't achieved it yet as a nation.
In decades following his assassination, the white media's led a relentless effort to try to redefine King, in fact, to try to reinvent him. Now, when you hear Dr. King speak these words, it becomes a lot more clear why the white media was so desirous to try to manufacture a new, sanitized, made for suburban audiences version of Dr. King that a lot of black people would try to distance themselves from. That was the goal of doing it. For so long, a lot of black people had dismissed Dr. King or tried to tell us to distance ourselves from him because they thought he didn't want to challenge white power, when the reality was most of us had been taught a false version of Dr. King.
Well, I would say then the philosophy was that we must go all out to use legal and nonviolent methods to gain full citizenship rights for the Negro people of our country. Of course, that particular struggle and that philosophy centered on breaking down all of the barriers of legal segregation. So I would say that in that period, the basic thrust for the gaining of citizenship rights for Negroes was to end the humiliation surrounding the whole system of legal segregation.
Notice that Dr. King said full citizenship for the Negro. Notice that he wasn't talking any black and brown. He wasn't saying anything about alliances.
We got to point that out. You know what I'm saying? As much as I love the brown people, because y'all know I'm one of them, he wasn't talking about the Hispanics and the Native Americans. He was all for the niggas. What happened was Bayard Rustin was a faggot, a homosexual, excuse me, Salakia. And, well, we know it's a lot of white homosexuals in America, especially back then, right? If you was black and you was in the closet in the 60s, you stayed there, right? For the most part, unless you was Bayard Rustin. So everybody that Bayard had behind him was a cracker for the most part, right? You had the Harry Belafonte, not Harry Belafonte. What's that white? Sinatra. You had the Frank Sinatras and all his people, right? So that's basically what you get there. those people that's coming in, they're supporting Martin Luther King, their boyfriends, the white women that support them. Then, the northern white people start coming in, jumping into it. So now you've got these other groups that are coming in, right? Now you got the Hispanics, the people that was jumping off of the Hugo Chavez stuff that was going on back in the 20s, that's still trying to get they thing going on here. They're also trying to now get their civil rights going. So a movement that started just for black people became a movement that included the civil rights of all these other people, which was also part of the plan of COINTELPRO, right? If this movement gets big enough and we make it so that they have to include all these other people, if it ends up being something that we have to do as a nation, we can make it a thing that includes all these other people. We don't have to give the black people everything they want. We could say that we're giving all these other people what they want and say that we still gave civil rights. So that's what they've done. And now you see 56 years later what the result of that is, right? Now the LGBTQXYZ123 elemental P has more rights than you and me. You feel me? That's how it goes. So we're going to play a little bit more and then get some precepts and shut it down. But this is the precipice of the goals that Martin Luther King had for the black people in America. It wasn't to join hand in hand with anybody originally. It was just to fight for our rights and to get the money that they said they was going to give us. That 40 acres and a mule so that we could build our own communities without them having the ability to tear the junk down or burn it down for that matter, right?
He was speaking specifically about the concerns and interests of black people, because to otherwise decide that everybody should be included in his statement would be the same as saying that everybody's concerns were equally pressing and equally important, and black people's concerns were no more pressing and no more important than anyone else's. And that would not have been the truth. Most black people only know one or two sentences from one speech Dr. King gave, and the white media tells us that's all there was to the man. I want you to understand that was not the case.
That's the I Have a Dream speech. That's the reason why they keep putting up all these statues of Martin Luther King. They don't want you to find out what he was really about and what his real goal was. And when people do, they become Umar Johnson ass niggas, right? They become super radical because they're like, yo, these white people have been trying to hide what's really going on. They've been trying to stop us from getting these economics that we've been trying to get. And Marcus Garvey and Martin Luther King was for it. They've been trying to teach us the opposite. Because it's like, yo, why y'all went this far to try to stop us from understanding what the man was really trying to say, what he was really trying to do for us, right? So that's the situation we in. Now we have a bunch of Umar Johnsons out there, right? They won't come back to the Bible because they can't really see how biblically or how the Bible is going to help us get economics, right? We have to be the people that is going to show that to them. Give me Ecclesiastes 7 and 12 right quick, Judah, before we continue this. Because this is also something that I believe Martin was into. This is something he was thinking about, right? How money is a defense. The things that happened to us during Jim Crow, where we're being hung, bitten by dogs, water hosed by the fire trucks and all type of stuff, right? Kicked off the buses, beaten with whips and batons, right? Shot down in the middle of the street just for looking at the white woman in the eyes as she walked by with her long back having behind, right? This is the type of stuff that used to happen to us. So Martin is thinking, if we have money, if we're in a situation where these white people look at us on the same level as them, because that's all it takes, money. They know physically we're better than them. They know we look better than them. So what makes them respect you in America? Money, right? White people respect Kanye. They might not like what he says, but they respect him. Why? Because he's got money. They respect Michael Jordan. Money. They respect Jay-Z. Money. They respect Rihanna. Money, right? Oprah. Money. Money gives you respect in America. Martin knew that. He realized it, right? They love Harry Belafonte during the time that Martin's around. Why? Money. Red Fox. Why they love Red Fox? He's a comedian. He could cuss out white people. He could stand up there like Richard Pryor and just cuss you out all day, make all type of race jokes in the 50s and 60s. Why? Money. they respected you. So go ahead and read this right quick. This is what Martin realized.
Con is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 12. For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it.
Yeah. Wisdom is a defense, money is a defense, but you can't do nothing with it without the knowledge to know what to do with it. That's basically what that was saying. If you ain't got the knowledge to be wise with your money, then you ain't really got, you have no reason to have it. Right? Now, his wisdom was going to be, the way he was planning on using it was to, gather the money together, gather our people together, and then use these economics to further our people's situation. Allow us to build our own communities, build our own schools, be able to teach our own stuff, our own history, right? They stopped all that from happening. Around the time of Martin Luther King is when they take out the Bible from the schools, right? All of that has something to do with each other. It's because they saw that there's certain things that we're grasping a hold to as far as our understanding of how America works. And if we would have been able to continue to be allowed to fully grasp that understanding of things, we'd be in a whole totally different situation as a people. I guarantee. Another Martin Luther King would have rose up by then, or the people that was following him, somebody would have been able to take the torch and keep it going. Just like if one of these Israelite leaders fall, the brothers in their camp going to keep the torch and keep it going, right? There's elders that die every day. Israel is still here though, right? When Martin fell, the movement was done. When Malcolm fell, the movement changed. So that's the things we got to understand, right? We got to make sure that we're basically taking the example that these brothers, gave us on the things that they saw was going to propel us forward. And we have to try to do those things in this time, but under the, guides of the Most High. And law, statutes, and commandments that these brothers weren't following, right? So if we do that, I guarantee we're going to be successful.
If Dr. King had been this non-threatening, let's all hold hands kind of guy, would they have demonized him so much? Would both the Kennedy and Johnson administrations have allowed their archenemy, J. Edgar Hoover, to spy on him? Would they have killed him if he was some mamby-pamby, weak accommodationist for white supremacy? White supremacy was taking out anyone who was a serious threat to them. Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, Fred Hampton. Dr. King didn't say, we're coming to talk about our check. He didn't say, hopefully they'll do the right thing about that check. He said, we're coming to get our check. That's not a request. Dr. King understood power is not given, it's taken. Do you truly believe that the same FBI that spied on Dr. King, that defamed the man, spread all sorts of lies and innuendo about the guy, and engineered his death for all we know, wasn't also listening to him saying these words? Do you think the same FBI that had placed him under surveillance and had listening devices all over the man was unaware that he was talking like this?
Well, there was no doubt about the hypocrisy of large segments of the nation on the whole question of racial equality. I think the best example is that many of the senators from the North and the West, and congressmen generally, who voted for civil rights legislation in 64 and even 65 with the Voting Rights Bill, refused last year to vote for civil rights legislation because it dealt with an issue applicable to the North, the whole housing question. And this, it seems to me, was the greatest expression of the hypocrisy of many of our citizens and many of the senators and congressmen of the North.
You see, when he starts talking about not just Southern politicians, but Northern politicians, you have to think there's still kind of a North versus South type of union versus what's it called? The union versus the what was the South called, Drew? Help me out. I just went blank. Confederation. Goodness gracious. He wasn't gonna help me anyway. The union versus the Confederation. The man not even here. So he done went on a bathroom break. But that's what happened, right? The union versus the Confederation. So there's still that type of mentality going on in America. Now, when Martin starts talking about both the Union and the Confederation, right? There's a situation where, okay, whose side is this nigga on, right? So that's how they start playing it. Now they're both against him. So that's the reason why J. Edward Hoover, a Republican, could be getting with J.F. Kennedy and Johnson, who were diehard Democrats, right? All for the sake of taking down this one black guy. Before I play a little bit of a little bit more of this video before we close out, I do want to read you guys this right quick from the History Channel to kind of prove that point that we just read. Hold up. All right. This is History Channel. A little thing about MLK. It says in early 1962, Attorney General Robert Kennedy approved a request for FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover to install wiretaps on the home and office of New York City-based lawyer named Stanley David Levison. Now, remember, if you were here at the beginning of the video, we told you that Stanley David Levison, he's the one that helped help Martin's best friend and his other advisors make that "I Have a Dream" speech. Clarence, right? Clarence and Stanley David basically made this speech and gave it to Martin Luther King to be able to, say out there in front of all them people. And it was supposed to be a speech that was going to be appealing to white folks, not just black people too, to get more white people on the side of the civil rights movement, right? So once it's known and it's put out there that this guy is going to be helping Martin Luther King, J. Edgar Hoover and Robert Kennedy immediately start trying to put surveillance on them, right? Reason being is because this man, Levison, was a member and the financier for the American Communist Party, right? The Communist Party of the United States of America as of late 1956. So this is a man who's Jewish, right? He's a Jewish man from the Communist Party. So he's a Hitler in America that's Jewish. Isn't that something? Let that sink in. So this Jewish Hitler in America that's funding the communist movement in the 50s, less than 10 years after Hitler was assassinated, right? Or killed himself, however you want to say it, before he was forced to die, damn it. This guy basically is in America. Well, right after that, he's in America being hit like a Hitler from the Jewish end. So Dr. Martin Luther King starts working with this man, thinking, okay, you got the bread. I know some of the white folks like you, some of the white folks don't, but the ones with the money like you. So I'm going to allow you to advise me to find out what things I need to do to get that money on our side, right? Obviously, the government sees that and it becomes an issue. So what they did was they decided to frame him. So here's what happens. It says they believe that he was wielding influence in different way as top advisor of the nation's most prominent civil rights leader, Dr. Martin Luther King. So they claim that this guy was his top advisor. It says, as King's fame and stature grew over the next several years, the FBI intensified its surveillance of him under its domestic counterintelligence program, COINTELPRO, arguing it was a matter of national security. So the reason that COINTELPRO was even allowed to get involved with Martin Luther King as a civil rights leader, not an actual terrorist, was because of this white man, this Jewish guy, Stanley David Levison. I'm looking for the proof on it. It's not out yet. Probably won't come out till 2027 when the rest of the information comes out. But I personally think Levison was working with COINTELPRO, and him working with them allowed them to have a reason to be investigating Martin Luther King, right? Because they're even going to say, though they said right here above, as you just read, or as I read to you, that Stanley David Levison is the reason why they thought that Martin Luther King and his movement was a matter of national security. They're going to tell you just a little bit further down as we read that they stopped looking at Levison and started only looking at Martin Luther King as the threat, even though he's not the communist or the terrorist. This Stanley Levison guy is, right? So that leads me to believe that they only allowed Stanley Levison access to Martin Luther King instead of taking him out or locking him up after 10 years of knowing who he was and what he was doing with MLK. They allowed him to stay around and stay his top advisor because that gave them legal right to continue to follow Martin Luther King and investigate him due to him dealing with a known communist, right? So, and we know communism is against America's it's against what they do here. So it says as King's fame and stature grew over the next several years, FBI intensified. Yeah, according to appropriate read that. Okay, bet. It says Hoover and his agents then tried to leverage that information not only to discredit and weaken King as a leader of the civil rights movement, but blackmail him into taking his own life. What they did was they found these documents and evidence of his extramarital affairs. So those things I told you in the last video with him having an affinity to white women, that obviously wasn't a good thing being a part of the civil rights movement. So what they did was they followed him due to him being around this white guy, right? And they used the fact that they seen him with a couple white women. I forget what the main white girl name was, but there was one white girl mainly that they found. They sent a tape of him and of Martin Luther King and this girl to Coretta, and they used that to try to make a letter that would make him want to kill himself. And in the letter, they gave him 34 days to read it and take his own life. Obviously, he didn't do it, so they killed him for themselves. But let's read on just a little bit. Let me see. All right. No, I want this next part. Okay, it says in August 1963, King delivered his own iconic "I Have a Dream" speech from the steps of the Lincoln Memorial during the March on Washington. His growing prominence brought increasing scrutiny from the FBI, and it said, "We must mark King now as the most dangerous Negro of the future of this nation, not the most dangerous Negro to date." Okay, the most dangerous nigga of the future of America. Okay, from the standpoint of communism. Now, was anything that Martin doing communism? Was anything Martin doing communist? No, right? So if nothing he did is communist, who's the only person that they could link to his movement being communist? The Stanley Levison guy, the Jewish man, right? The Jewish man. So that's what happened, right? They're using Stanley Levison and his relationship with Martin to attack Martin instead of attacking Stanley Levison, right? So it's like, if that was really the issue, why wouldn't you just take out Stanley Levison like you took out all them other white people? You know what I'm saying? Reason being is because ain't no need to take out Stanley Levison. He's giving you access to the man you actually want to take out, and they're gonna admit it. It says, we must mark him now as the most dangerous Negro in the future of the nation from the standpoint of communism, the Negro and national security, right? So he's saying, from the standpoint of communism, other niggas, and our national security, this the most dangerous dude in the world, right? This guy, William Sullivan, head of the Bureau's Domestic Intelligence Division, he's the one that wrote it. He also wrote the letter telling him to kill himself. It says in October 1963, Robert Kennedy authorized the installation of wiretaps in King's Atlanta home and the SCLC offices. So, yeah, he actually gets tapped after this. And then reading on, let's see, right here. All right. It says, though the FBI stopped wiretapping King's home in April of 65, his office, and his office the following year, it continued investigating him all the way until his assassination in Memphis on April 4th, which we saw at the beginning, right? So it says the extent of the FBI's campaign to a campaign attempt to use King's personal life against him, aka him sleeping with the white girls, they made an infamous suicide letter, right? And it didn't actually come out that this letter was a fake suicide letter made by Hoover's people until 1976, folks, right? After 76, once they admit this, they said the FBI has stated that at no time did it have any evidence that Dr. King himself was a communist or connected with the Communist Party. So after they kill him, 10 years later, right, they go ahead and put out the facts. Yo, he's not a communist. He ain't even connected to the Communist Party. He ain't have nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? We was really just looking at him because of this Stanley Levison guy. But all that doesn't matter now because he's dead. You see this? And then here's what I was telling you guys before. In 1977, King's former assistant Bernard Lee sued the FBI for damages relating to the Bureau's surveillance of King, right? Illegal surveillance, because they said they were only able to do it because of his connection to the Communist Party. But then they put out something in 76 saying he's not a communist and had no connection to the Communist Party. So a year later, his partner tried to sue him and it didn't work. It said a federal judge in the case denied Lee's request at surveillance tapes and transcripts to be destroyed, which is what Lee wanted. And in fact, the judge ordered that the FBI turn them over to the National Archives, the same archives that have that Balfour Declaration that we read in that video, the last video we did with the SOT, right? That video in the Balfour Declaration thing, it's out there because it's in the National Archives. National Archives is a separate entity from the FBI and stuff. So they have dates and stuff that things are allowed to stay in the archives and they can't be touched by anybody else. That Harry Truman Library is a national archive forever. Martin Luther King's speeches and the surveillance of King, the illegal surveillance of King, so that people could find out exactly how dirty COINTELPRO was, they're keeping that under wraps until 2027, as you see right there, right? By court order. So just wanted to put all that out there to show you guys exactly how grimy America is, right? And what type of depths they will go to keep the facts out of Martin Luther King. They won't allow certain things to come out about him until 2027. All right. So we get 2 more precepts and then close it out.
That's it. Let's do it.
Let me see what I want. Give me Zephaniah 2:1. Hell.
We definitely need this right about now.
United Snakes of America. This is something that Martin Luther King wanted us to do, right? He wanted us to do what this scripture is saying, and we got to still continue to do this. Go ahead. Read the verse 3.
This is book of Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired. Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Most High come upon you, before the day of the Most High's anger come upon you. Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be ye shall be hid in the days of the Most High's anger.
Yeah, man. That's what we've got to do. You feel me? We have to make sure that we gather ourselves together and actually do it under the guides of the Most High, under the law, statutes, and commandments. That way, we guarantee that we can make it to where we're trying to make it to, right? Before the day passes the chaff. We got to make that happen. That way, we could do what Martin Luther King wanted us to do, and that's see the kingdom, right? That was his whole goal, to make sure that we see the kingdom. He said he's seen it, but there was a dream that the Most High showed him while he was in Israel of him actually standing on the mountain while he was there. He said he's seen it. And I believe he did. Because he had, he had the vigor to go and say what he said, do what he did. And he died for it. So you got to respect that, right? He's a martyr for Yahushua and for Yashala. You got to respect that. Give me 2nd Ezra chapter 2 and verse 13. We're going to read a little bit here, but after this, we'll be done.
All right. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 2.
Read from 13 to 16 and then jump to verse 20.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 2 and verse 13. Go, and ye shall receive. Pray for a few days unto you, that ye may be shortened. The kingdom is already prepared for you.
So
watch.
Look, the kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch, right? That's what Martin said in his last speech. Hey, I ain't going to make it there with you, but I going to make it. Right? Longevity is a good thing, but I ain't worried about that right now. Let's get you guys where we trying to get you guys. And if they kill me, F them. That's it, right? It says we're already redeemed in Isaiah 43. The Most High surnamed us and we're already redeemed. Ezra's telling us we're going to get the kingdom. Watch. Keep reading. Shalom.
Trying to hit the other button, Salaki. Take heaven and earth to witness, for I have broke the evil in pieces and created the good, for I live, saith the Most High. Mother, embrace thy children and bring them up with gladness. Make their feet as a pillar, for I have chosen thee, saith the Lord. And those that be dead will I raise up again from their places and bring them out of the graves, for they have known my name in Israel. Skipping to verse 30, right?
Skip to verse 20.
Verse 20. Do right to the widow, judge for the fatherless, give to the poor,
Hey,
defend the orphan.
you gonna read the verse 32, just like you know.
That's cool. That's cool. Clothe the naked, heal the broken and the weak. Laugh not a lame man to scorn. Defend the maimed, and let the blind man come into the sight of my clearness.
That's right.
Keep the old and young within thy walls.
Now look, pause there. Hold up. Keep all these things that he's talking about is happening within our walls, guys. You know what that means? This is talking about us being in a community for the Israelites before the kingdom come. The things that are supposed to happen within this community, within our walls, within our gates, how he's supposed to handle our people, how he's supposed to treat them, the type of resources we're supposed to give, the type of love we're supposed to get, how he's supposed to train our children up in the way they should go. All of that's mentioned in this chapter right here. And when he finishes reading, you're going to see what the result of that is. Keep going.
Khan. Salaki. Khan. We're at verse
21 or 22 or 23, something like that.
Yeah. 23. Wheresoever thou findest the dead, take them and bury them, and I will give thee the first place in my resurrection. Abide still, O my people, and take thy rest, for thy quietness shall come. Nurse thy children, O thy good nurse, establish their feet. As for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not be one of them, Salaki, there shall not one of them perish, for I will require them from among thy number. Be not weary.
So look, wait, hold on. That part too, right? The servants, right? It's going to be servants that we get. I ain't talking about them living within the place with us, but it's going to be people that's going to be able to help us, you know what I'm saying, get to where we're trying to get to. Tares, if you will. People that's not part of our nation, that's going to be able to help us do what we're trying to do. They're going to be required of our number, right? They're going to be part of the people we grab and take to our place. You feel me? But they start serving us here, as many of them have already tried to. You see the YouTube videos with all them people, all them heathen out there trying to profess that we're the Israelites, from pastors to the dirty white girls in their car, right? They all trying to get the facts out there about us being the bruise. They all trying to cleave a little bit. So, you know, we could let them do it. The thing is, you know what I'm saying, what happens in the midst of that happening? While they're cleaving, what else is going on? Keep reading up.
Khan, verse 28. Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful. But thou shalt be merry and have abundance.
So look, if we gather ourselves together the way that Martin was trying to get us to do, we put our resources together and just make it for ourselves. Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, who are the Israelites, right? We're using the man moon of unrighteousness. They're helping us build up our habitations. You know what I'm saying? If we in these situations, the Bible's telling us we're going to not see hell. Those people are going to be jealous of us. We're going to have abundance while they're in a situation where they jacked up, right? That even goes for our people. 1/3 is going to be saved. 2/3 is going to be with the heathen, mad, sad, going through hell. Jacob's trouble, right? There's a remnant that ain't going to have, it's Jacob trouble ain't really going to be that troublesome. Keep going.
Come on. Verse 28.
Read that again. Just read 28 again. And keep going.
The heathen shall not, Salaki, the heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, save the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
My hands shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell. Be joyful, O thou mother, with thy children, for I will deliver thee, saith the Most High. Remember thy children that sleep, for I shall bring them out of the sides of the earth, and show mercy unto them, for I am merciful, saith the Most High Almighty.
That's right.
Embrace thy children. This is 32.
All right, Con, read that, and then we done.
Con. Embrace thy children until I come, and show mercy unto them, for my wells run over, and my grace shall not fail.
That's right. Okay? So you see it there, bro. It's in the Bible. It's prophecy. We get ourselves a community. We put our economics together. The heathen gonna be mad, but we shall not see hell. Most High's hand is gonna cover us, right? It's easy to get a cover if we all in the same place, or if we in multiple same places, right? If brothers is in their own spots, away from the heathen, it's also easier to hit them with a nuke, right, and miss us. So these are all things you got to think about, man. But it's already spelled out in the Bible how it needs to happen and how it's going to go down. Brothers and sisters just have to put their heads together to make the prophecy come to pass, right? Brothers like Malcolm and Martin, they did the groundwork. Now we got to keep walking and running with it until we get to where we're trying to go. So let's do it. Hope y'all enjoyed the lesson. That's all we got for y'all today. Y'all stay tuned for the rest of the lessons we got throughout the week. Wild Out Wednesday, the Thursday show, Saturday morning brew, and of course, hashtag come to camp.
Hey, check this out. Yeah, hey, come to camp. Hey, listen, this weekend is new moon. All right, this weekend is new moon. All right, so check this. I'm not going to be in the background this week for Sabbath morning brew because we got something very important we got to do here in Greensboro that I told y'all will be privy to in about a week or two. You know what I'm saying? But AHOS radio must go on. Somebody's going to be in the background making it happen. You know what I'm saying? Bringing y'all this good music after the class. You see what I'm saying? Now, remember, once again, sisters, if you want to help us prepare for Passover and help us with the things that we need done, send us an email, Anointed House of Saints at AnointedHOS@gmail.com. Also, if you want the prospect phase, all right, you want to get more lessons like this because we're going to train you up right. All right, send us an email to HOS@gmail.com. We appreciate everybody that tuned in today. All right, and with that, we are the Anointed House of Saints, and the saints shall take the kingdom forever and ever, even forever. Bashima Mashiach Yahushua.
Bashima Mashiach Yahushua.
Shalom.
Shalom.
This is not a test.
Black skin, black sauce, black Jesus, black music, black skin, black sauce, black Jesus, black music, black skin.